I think everyone has kind of seen the invite, so you know who our today's act is going to be. So we have invited two guys over from I think from two very important markets to all of you. So we have Janne. Hello. Janne is from Code from Finland. He's the chairman of Code from Finland. He runs Exove, which is, I think, many of you may know because Exove also has an office here in Tallinn. You are around 100 people, yeah. Mainly Drupal, and so the idea with so why we are inviting Janne over is because we want to figure out how we can do collaboration between Estonia and Finland. And Janne is sort of like, if we look at Finland as well, he's in a really good position because that's what he's been doing for a few years already. Right, so maybe Janne can come and sit down here. And then we have Dmitrij. Dmitrij comes from Wrocław, which is in Poland. Dmitrij has a development house himself as well, which is doing okay. He runs it every day. They have 60 people around. And then what Dmitrij has done in Poland, together with 10 other development houses, they started Software Development Association, which gathers Polish software development houses. They were 10 2 years ago, maybe.
Like 1.5 years.
1.5 years ago. Now there are 83 houses, and they do a lot of collaboration, like in many different aspects. And I think like that's something. I don't know. I'm kind of always like a little bit. I kind of admire what they do. They do it really well. It's like one of those associations that really works and brings revenue, more deals, efficiency to the members. So that's why we have Dmitrij here today. Maybe you can start by introducing yourself.
Ja, meidän tutvutaan. Mä olen Janne Kalliola Exovesta ja suur tänu kutse eest ja now I'll continue speaking in English because I know a bit more Estonian than that, but not much. But I actually when we opened the office in Tallinn in 2011, I enrolled to Estonian language courses in Finland and have been learning the language for 8 years with pensioners, and it's really slow pace.
Which is good for you.
Yeah, it's actually for me actually that I can actually keep up with the Joneses there. But yeah, I took our Estonian expansion very seriously and also personally back then, and I think that we'll probably come back to this, but what drew me and Exove to Estonia was the energy and the general feeling of getting shit done here compared to Finland, and it still is. I'm truly glad to be here. My background is that I studied with programming computers on tender age of 9 with WIC 20. I made my first commercial software when I was 14. First international commercial software when I was 18, and then it has been downhill since. So I studied in the Technical Korkeakoulu, the former Helsinki University of Technology before Aalto University, and then worked in a couple of companies before founding my own that I've been running now for 14 years and grown it from one single man show to 100 people. And I must say that I have learned a lot, so hopefully I can share some of those learnings with me. And then I Exove joined Code from Finland. It was actually not really a association, but just a movement found by Vincit for the internal use actually first, and then people get interested, and then I ended as chairman. I sort of ended places, it seems, and have been running that for a few years. And we believe firmly that the Finnish code quality is excellent, and it's something really worth exporting out of Finland and getting more money in the small economy we are.
Mm-hmm. And is it easy to export Finnish code or difficult to export Finnish code?
If we would have Swedish sales guys, it would be really easy at the end. we have just Finnish sales guys, actually. Most of them suck, to be honest, so but it's not that easy.
And most Finnish dev houses, I think they sell to Finland mostly, right?
Yeah, most of them sell to Finland, and then some of them have become international with the sort of following their clients. Nokia has been big here, the navigation stuff, especially in Germany, and has brought a lot of companies to Germany and so forth. So and now they are even making more international of themselves, and then some are retreating from the UK, for example, because of Brexit and so forth. So it's not that easy, even if you think that the code is superior, but at the end the customer value is that makes or breaks the game.
Okay, and I think we will come back to that as well. And the economics of the things, how easy it would be to sell Finnish code, maybe Estonian code, maybe Polish code, but maybe Dmitrij can also.
Thanks. Sounds like a geeky childhood. So I share a similar story. Being younger, started with QBasic in third grade.
But who of you, because most of the people run a house or do sales for it here, who codes?
Today?
Who else coded? Okay, maybe I.
So yeah, all the way around. You mentioned language thing. When I was in high school, there was a presidential competition in Poland before Poland became a member of the European Union. And we had to choose one language and to promote it like as the language of the European Union country, and we could win something with that. And at that time, I decided to choose Finnish language and to promote it throughout Poland, and we got second place in the country. We were at Benelux for a couple of days and met different people. And that's how actually I started my career as a Flash developer, because I built the whole platform based on Flash, ActionScript, combining learning online, something like that. So I'm in Wrocław for 17 years this year. All through computer science studies from engineer to PhD, and all the time doing code and seeing how we need to manage teams to create a good code and finally a good product. Because personally I failed like 6 times with building a product. So I'm a startup founder who failed 6 times, and I'm a business founder who succeeded 2 times. In one company and Duoc is another one. And Duoc is like 10 years old. It's based in Poland in 2 different cities, which compare to, let's say, Tallinn and Tartu, so in Wrocław and Green Mountain, we call it, like Żatuchin. And we started expanding it to Europe, mainly to the Baltic Sea region and Northern Sea region, operating there, selling there, mainly there. So what differs and what was the biggest challenge for most Polish companies is that we actually do not sell to Polish companies. So
and here I think most of you or us sell to Estonian companies, right? Or not? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah. And Finland is similar, I think. Yeah. and Poland never sells to Poland.
Unless
That's
try
a
once.
really
So,
big difference.
yeah, we tried two times. Two
Yeah.
times. And 2 times it was a failure. Different reasons. And that were actually 2 of the most biggest countries we had in history in our company. With a quite good rates, with a quite good challenges. But on the mindset level, the software services community in Poland is in a different place in time, like in future, a little bit, than the whole society in Poland. And when we come abroad to speak to people, to meet people, then I, like for many years, felt like I am behind many years. And just now there's the moment where we feel very comfortable going abroad, going to Scandinavia, to Nordics, to Germany, wherever we go, to meet people, to speak with them, to do icebreaker sessions. We are finally invited somewhere to speak. Thank you.
but it's funny because most of the Polish companies, they sell abroad. They don't, and most of Estonian and Finnish, I think as well, you try to open markets abroad. Maybe some succeed, but many or most do not succeed. And there's like a huge difference in there. But
that's the reason why Software Development Association Poland was actually founded. So I don't know how old is code in Finland.
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. So in Poland, it was very strange to start not compete but collaborate in this.
in Estonia, it's also very, I can tell you. Really, right? So it's the first thought is about the competition and about the fear of like someone snatching your guy, and then the second reaction is like, why should I give my money to someone else or something like that. There are a lot of things like that.
Yeah, that was one of the goals why like a couple of friends or competitors, I don't know, after some beer in Warsaw meeting after some conference, maybe it was Wolf Summit or maybe it was something else, maybe it was Infosure in preceding, Infosure I think. So after that, like that was first unofficial meetup, like 8 persons sitting around in a circle drinking beer, that's it. Next was like 30, then it was like 50, 100 people came. And we said, okay, so maybe there is a chance that we at least can have common vocabulary and try to collaborate, solve common problems. And the very first common problem was how to sell. So
and the funny thing is that you don't collaborate with Polish clients, but you're like happy to collaborate with your competitors.
Yeah. I think we can make a small pause here so I don't go into this story and maybe warm up a little bit our.
So Dmitrij had this quiz he wanted to do actually. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I have my phone. So maybe you guys can take out your phone, and it's a little quiz that where we kind of looked at different markets. And we looked at Finland, we looked at Estonia, and we looked at Poland. And we wanted to see like, how well we know our markets. We were pretty, I think everyone knew what about where we are, but we didn't know about our neighbors.
That's a guess.
We guessed. So if you log into that code, we can...
I can participate, I know the answers.
Okay, so...
Okay, I have a question. So, what do you mean with the size of the market? So, do you mean from like provider side, or do you mean like how much is ordered?
That's the value of industry of software development.
Okay, so it's from service provision then.
So services, IT services, providers. Okay, it's like
So everyone has it.
not hardware, just to be sure. Yeah, so we do not sell here.
I also have to question, so which one is the biggest is the question, or what? I also
Oh, well, later.
Is that the question? Or
we will see. Yeah, how we will rank the size, so the biggest one will be the first.
Okay, now I get it. Okay. presenting the slides, but I don't know how. Here
it is. Wait a moment, because it's still live. So, do you need like 30 seconds to finish, or? Okay. It's stable? No, it's not stable. Okay.
Does anyone know how big the Estonian service you would know? The whole market size? No?
Oh, that's good.
Okay, that would be
Let's
nice.
check. Let's check.
Next slide or shall we answer? I don't know. Yeah.
Next slide.
Okay, it's not true. But it's not only services. Of course.
It's software development market.
It's software development market. Okay.
It's software development. They are our clients. We are clients of them. We generate demand for them, and we are users of their services.
Mm-hmm.
It's all around.
And Poland
That's
is
the
the
ecosystem.
and you never sell to Polish customers.
No.
That makes sense.
Unless they are software development companies.
Okay.
So, Janne, what do you think?
I'm actually surprised that I thought that it would be Swedes, but I'm really happy about it. Yeah.
I think it's helped the club is out and maybe something else.
Yeah, I don't know whether Supercell is there. That it is like 1 million. They have 5 games and each of them have made €1 million. So that expensive big, but
That's data from statistics, like you take from big reports like stats somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's move on.
let's move on.
Let's move on. Next question.
Next question.
Boom, and we are faster this time. So waiting for
Players.
next slide.
Yeah. Next slide. Okay, start with.
Okay, but
Okay.
yes, that's a good one. Do you guys know like how much if you want to sell to Finland, what the Finnish market rate is?
What's the average rate?
The answers didn't work. Okay. Okay. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Next one.
Leaderboard.
Next one. We don't know who's winning
We'll
right
see.
now.
We'll see.
How many developers Finland needs to cover its needs?
Just type a number. There is some delta acceptance. Just type a number. What do you think? In thousands,
Can
hundreds.
you tell us, please?
I can't tell you a number of numbers this way and the other. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. Different kind of numbers.
15,000. Okay.
Like a year and a half ago, it was 12,000. It's just increasing.
How
Yeah,
many?
it's been increasing all the time.
And does anyone even know who's who?
It says on your own phone.
Okay. And how many software development companies in Poland? So service companies.
Software development and service companies.
Okay. In
We
Estonia,
call them software houses.
do you have a question about Estonia as well? Estonia is like 60, 70, somewhere in between. Maybe a little bit more. No one has that statistics, I think. So,
Okay, pretty close.
1,000. And you have 80 in SoDA.
And we have 84 as of
Okay.
today.
So, okay.
And we're the only and the biggest organization of IT
Okay.
in Poland. So it's like just starting. Okay.
And the last one.
I know, back.
Oh, back. Okay, so who won? Who's
Tweeto. Okay.
That's
correct.
actually he knew all the answers.
That's why he's sitting here. And And the next one, it was Montana, right?
And who was the second? Okay, I don't know how to do it, but let's move on. I will.
Gamification. So there's a little word here.
Montana?
That's me. Okay. And Dr.
But maybe
also from industry. Paul.
was third. Okay. But maybe Janne can tell us what you do with code from Finland.
Yeah, so the code from Finland, we, as I said, we strongly believe that Finnish code is superior.
But is it superior to these guys' code?
That's a good question that I want to get back to it also. I don't answer the question.
Okay.
So I would say that the compared in world in general, there's so many bad coders. And if you go to States, for example, then the productivity of an average American coder is 2 or 3 times less than a Finnish coder. And it's mostly because most of the Finnish coders they study through the university with IT, and if that is same with Estonia and Poland and Sweden and the other places, that's one part of the equation. The other one is the attitude towards the coding, and then we had something that I don't know what was the situation here, but the demo scheme in the 90s that taught a lot of good coders how to make most of the machine, and that's why we have so many successful game companies, for example. So it's not just good code, but it's tight code, that kind of economical code, and in the future there will be most probably in a year or two a lot of talk about the climate effect of ICT, because it's actually growing fast as the energy used in ICT, and it will surpass logistics, including airplanes in a few years. Even if most of it's green, but then somewhere there's a coal plant that is switched up to get the energy for the other industries. So the tight code that gets the things done will be more crucial in the future, and we believe that the Finland produces that. To promote that, we want to make sure that the Finnish code does well, and that means that the coders need to do well, and for the coders to do well, their employers, the agencies and the product houses need to do well, and for them to do well together with the country to do well, we need to export the code as much as possible, not by selling it as a single deal or even licenses, but with the software as a service model. So that's the ultimate goal of what we are looking at. And the funny thing is that you know that there's renewable and non-renewable sources of material. The code, because it's digital, it can be multiplied with no cost at the end. So it's sort of a renewable plus kind of thing that you just sit and you generate value. It's same with the music, like in Sweden and the movies in America, that they make a lot of money with the IPR that is sort of does not exist in material form, and that's really easy way to make a lot of money when you start to get the multiplying effect with a little effort and very little effort to the nature and the raw material of the country. And for Estonia, like in Finland, this country is not very rich in raw materials. Finland has few places with their gold mines and these kind of things, but nothing major. And we are no Congo in that sense that there's not that much of treasures ground. We have trees and that's about it.
So you have coders?
Yeah, now we have coders also, and this is actually that we consume Coca-Cola and we produce code, and the sort of ratio of the cost and then the benefits is something that it can skyrocket if you think of it. For example, the Supercell, that their revenue was like 800 million euros or something like that. They have few hundred people who make that. So every single person in Supercell makes like 3 million euros revenue.
But the problem is the same, right? Like the problem in Finland is the same, that okay, you can do superior code, but at the end of the day you have exactly the same problem as we have, like it's a lack of coders, right?
Yeah, the lack of coders, so actually it's a bit more complicated than that. It's a lack of senior coders, and we have a juniors, and the Finnish market is tend very heavily on the service side, on the agency side, that people go to the client premises to code, and the client buys teams. And client doesn't want to buy a team that has a junior member, because junior member is just a drag. So they insist that everybody needs to be senior, and it means that everybody needs to start their career with 4 years of experience. And it's really hard to start a career with 4 years of experience without actually going somehow through the 4 years. And we have a number of juniors in the country that don't become seniors because it's really hard to get them hired and get money out of those. So it's partially our own problem. It's partially also that there's just a lot of people missing, and then the immigration policies that what they are in Finland, that takes 3 to 6 months to get work permit. Everybody goes to Thailand or Canada.
But then it opens the question, like, why are there so little, like, why do Estonian dev houses do that little business with Finland if there is, because there is the economic thing that your hourly rate is much higher than here, the culture is a little bit similar, but there is not as much action as we think there could be, for example.
Yeah. I've been working for 14 years, and not a single Estonian company has ever approached me. And it's because the Estonian people you are very takasihoidlik.
And that's kind of where I want to get to, is like exactly like we see, like we are kind of starting with a few companies like Mikko, for example, who's sitting there, and we are seeing that there is like value to be created between like collaborations between Estonian houses and Finnish houses, and it's funny because it's just not happening, or we haven't seen it happening before, and like both ways. I think Mikko has also tried to sell his code here, almost successfully. Right. So and that's something I think could be changed quite easily, and it's with communication, it's with understanding who is on each side of the pond. Exactly what they are doing with SoDA, understanding who could be your partner in what area, and like who everybody wins. Is at least that's the way we see.
And every Finn that has worked with Estonian, and typically means construction worker, the Kalipuik, but everybody that I have met has been extremely happy with the Estonian attitude and the quality. So you have actually a really good position, not just to be, I don't say that you should go to construction work in Finland, that's not my point, but actually that the Estonians are seen hardworking people that keep their promises, and it's something that could be used way better to enter the Finnish market. But Finland is in that sense, for Estonians, it's a, how to say, exception, because it's easier to go there because there's like 50,000, 100,000 if you listen to Ekre, there's that amount of money people in Finland that's
not kind of our field. Like who has clients in Finland? Do you have clients in Finland? You are just starting with.
Almost.
You have clients.
You almost have.
You almost have.
Almost have.
Exactly. But some do, right?
I have a question though. I have worked with some Finnish clients, not programming houses, but is that Estonia everything is really cheap, and I have a really small amount of clients, but but it's not like it's almost the understanding is that Estonia is more cheaper than Estonian clients think.
That's probably because you have cheap beer and booze here compared to it's a bit more pricey now that it's Latvia is the destination, I guess nowadays. But it's partially because of the history and I was first here when there was still the glass houses in Mustamäe that you could buy anything. Bootleg stuff and what else, and that kind of mindset is still there in Finns partially. It actually is that the Estonia is most probably as expensive place for dev houses as in Finland, because you have Bolt, you have Pipedrive, you have TransferWise, you have Playtech, you have Microsoft and others that pay very good salaries. And my experience is that if Estonian developer gets a better quote from somebody else, then it's to be really big reasons that he would stay instead of taking that offer, and that has raised the salaries quite high. So it actually, the price is not the key selling point. You should go to Ukraine or Romania to get cheap coders with varying results, I would say.
But that's what kind of what we would drive to is like it could be the value can be in collaboration in terms of the cultural similarities and the ways of working together and proximity, etc. Not regarding the price per se.
Yeah. The business ethics and the way of business is very similar in Finland and Estonia. You are just way quicker, and that's something that you need to go. Remember, I think if you go to Finland, everything goes with snails, and the people are always on holidays, and so forth.
So it takes time to open.
It takes time, and you should not talk about you should be sort of more proud that we have Skype is Estonia thing, that it was built in a weekend when the Swede and the Dane came to see whether it is possible, and the three guys that were the knucklers of Skype, I met them, they said that they actually wrote the first version during the weekend, just for fun of it. And you have TransferWise, that is one of the unicorns or decacorns in the
But it's again, you're talking about product companies.
I don't know, but it means that this country brings quality stuff, and you can use those. That Bolt has conquered the world, the Pipedrive has conquered the world, best CRM in the world for the certain kind of businesses, are none. And you hire from the same schools that they hire. You don't not say that you have been working there, but you use the same talent pool. And then just divert the conversation from prices to value. And say that if you want to have cheap prices, you go to India and you go get disappointed. That's how it goes. Or you go to Russia, and then you have really weird discussions in the I have been doing that back in the days that having Russian subcontractors, and we finally had hire an Indian guy from Tata that they put them in the order. Then everything went fine, but before that it was complete circus. So with Estonians, for instance, is that the people can be trusted, they keep the word, and the only thing that you need to sort of raise up is that you need to communicate way more. Finns expect that you call them.
That's what I learned. Other Finns.
But that is also a problem with Finnish companies. But my partner, not my wife, but business partner, said he's a marketing guy and brand guy, and run a brand agency. And he said that if you call your customer and say that I have been lately thinking about your business, 99% of the clients say that, oh, that's really lovely to hear. And one person said that don't do it again. So if you call them and say that I have been thinking about you, I have been paying attention to you, and I have these kind of ideas, and I have got these kind of things, then the chances are that they might buy from you. But if you don't call them, but you personally wait that the phone rings, it never will ring. So you need to be proactive, and you need to communicate way more, because Finns expect way more communication, and they expect The other thing is that they expect less directness, that you need to add some flowerness on the talk, that it goes a bit more like waves instead of the it's just on the pizza wall. they didn't see that it's coming, that the decision not to get so fast. And I do appreciate I appreciate the Estonian way, the directness, the takasikoitlikness, the sort of caring for everybody else's privacy and so forth. But those are, none of them are commercially viable things. That you need to have sales guys, and you need to have the sales attitude. And there where you should look at the Swedes, that if you want to have stereotypes there, or Dutch, but there's probably Swedes that they don't actually have anything but good slides, and then they sell something and then they figure out later, probably call to Estonia or Poland or Ukraine. Okay, now we have this kind of problem that we have a lot of money and then somebody needs to make the software.
Yeah.
But they got the sale already, and that's the difference. Finns, we tend to make a perfect product and then hope that it will sell itself and then figure out why.
And sometimes it does. But what is the thing then? Okay, in Finland, the code costs so much. Okay, one thing. But most of the business all is done. Everyone orders from like Finnish services business is quite big, and it's like the majority of business is like it's hard for us to go into Finnish market or hard for Dmitrij to enter the Finnish market.
It's a lot easier to enter Finnish sauna. I did it for 2 years with my almost customers.
Almost customers. So what's the thing? Like, why are they willing to pay so much, and why is it for us so hard to enter the market?
That's an excellent question. Excellent question.
And then that's where I would also add the part. Like, you are trying to export code, which is the most expensive in the world, kind of, which may be a little bit different.
But that actually, it's not. It's not that the. I would say that the salaries of Finnish coders will be. They are quite low, surprisingly low.
We calculated today. It's almost the same as in Poland.
Czech Republic is, what I've understood, it's actually more. It's pricier than Finland. And then if you go to UK, God forbid, or to Sweden, they are it's more pricier. That's a bit
pricier, but the price you sell to customer is still higher than Czech Republic.
Yeah.
So you make good business. And that's my question. Like, how is it hard for then an Estonian company creating good code, good references maybe, go into a market where it's obvious that you can also raise the price, but and still be lower, and we see the cases like we have clients who maybe you are also talking through us, and our Estonian partners were not able to in the end they went with a Finnish, even though a lot of value is created and also the price is better, but in the end they pick.
Yeah, the cost of an hour depends a lot also on the value produced in that hour.
Absolutely.
Finns do it pretty well. We have honed the system. You need to go a couple of steps back. So Finland is unique in Europe, what I've understood, in that it has a lot of mid-size IT companies, and with mid-size I mean that 500,000 people.
500 to
1,000 people, yeah. So not 500,000 people, not that big. We have Tieto, we have CGI, we have a couple of others, those Fujitsu and so forth. And then there is the middle layer that is missing from most of the other countries. That there are no that kind of big dev houses, but instead most of the market is typically shared with a few big companies that sell to government, for example. Finnish government has changed it that they buy from anybody that fits the needs. And these companies, because there's not like 4, but there's 40 or 80 good companies, the competition is really fierce. And you get really good quality code, design, and those are combined. So if you want to conquer Finland, you need to have designers. That needs to be most probably Finnish in the beginning, because the Estonian designers come from a bit different. When you look at this place and the Finland, they are a bit different in design and so forth. So it's a combination of a lot of things. But the competition, we have been around for 15 years. Reactor has been around for 20 plus years. Futurized 20 years. SoDA almost 20 years. So there is a kind of a brick wall. So the best way, I think, is to partner first with these companies. A lot of them have offices here in Estonia. SoDA has, it's our neighbor in Viruvere 2. We are here. Koodia has opened office here. Talk with those guys first, get something project, and then when you earn the trust of that organization, then you will get more and more deals because they found out actually these people get the shit done. And then you get, hopefully you can say later that we have been part of these Finnish projects. The thing is that we discussed this today when we talk about this, is that we Finns, we always think about what the Swedes think about us. And you Estonians probably think what the Finns think about us. And the hard truth is that the bigger cousin never thinks about the smaller cousin. So we don't think about Estonia, and Swedes don't think about Finland. They probably aim for the Germany or UK in Sweden and think what they think about them and so forth. So it's for example, we don't know in Finland, we don't know big Estonian brands. We just don't know them. You probably know some Finnish brands because of the history and so forth. But and we know a lot of Swedish brands. But Swedes don't know any Finnish brands except Kone and Nokia. And so it goes. So it's hard for with the Estonian references go to Finland because they don't know that okay, if there's an Estonian company that does something, and I have a company that has done a similar kind of thing for a Finnish company that I do know, then of course you easier select that one. So you need to have a special skills. Or then have somehow enough knowledge and what is the experience working with Finns. And then if you can prove that, then it's easier. So I think like from Dmitrij is that how you are working with Germans. Is it because the Germans don't have the IT people of their own, or how did you? It's the same kind of situation with Poland and Germany.
We have some Germans here as well, I think. Who can raise their hand? German Estonian Dev House is Vertical IT, and it's an interesting one because yes, I think all the polls, the first market they look at is Germany, right? Yes. Yeah. And probably you. Probably you this is the most competition you get from outside must be Poland.
I just joined because I found, but
okay, sorry. Yeah.
So I feel great on this. I'll mix data and own experience. The same way. So according to statistics of software houses we denied, 49% is German. Like selling them, it's like private market to go and sell. And it's kind of thing that you were looking at Swedish and Estonia were looking to Finland, and Poles were looking to Germans as an example, but it's a little bit historical different because Poland was divided into parts, so some were looking east, some were looking west, some were looking nowhere, just in Europe. So in IT, Germany is a very big partner for Poland, but, and I need to use but and not and here, other way, it's not a partnership, usually. We think in Poland that's a partnership. And we are just vendors. And we learned it already many years ago. In DOK we have three customers, two customers actually, from Bavaria for some time. And that's this way, which will be closer to Estonia. Very straight, very professional, strict. You go to TechCrunch Berlin, like an event, you compare it to Arctic, let's say, in Helsinki. They'll just come here, 9 start their meetings, 5 they finish, they all go out of the venue. That's it. No after parties, no socializing, no networking. It's a very cultural way of making event and business. It's nice. Maybe last years we'll be doing something else. But next day again, second day they just come, meet, and go. And if they need you, it's a very fast deal. It's just okay, come meet, okay, negotiate this, that. Managing director will fly to Poland or we fly there. We meet, we start working. And superiority of engineering ideas from Germany, that they are always better than ideas of Polish teams, makes this kind of strange relationship, which usually is not so true because Poles win computer science Olympic games since I remember in all the world, like gold and bronze, silver medals every year, etc. And yeah, like having both ideas, very hard to sell them to Germans that they should use this unless you convince them what people scared of, etc.
So let's go back a little bit. So I think what Dmitrij is talking about, I have talked to most of you about the product that we are trying to launch here, which is the bench. So basically, what we believe is that you know, all development houses, or you have most of the time you have someone sitting without work, of course, or sometimes you need people into a project. And the way we have solved it in our Allies beta is basically inspiration taken from SoDA, because we see how it works in Germany. So we have in Poland. And I have been told also in Estonia that I'm not sure if it's possible. In Poland it's possible, maybe not in Estonia. And somehow these guys have figured out the way that okay, they do share the bench on the same market with the same market rate, so they all charge pretty much the same, and they still manage to make 300k extra out of 2 million for his company.
In Finland we don't have that kind of concept, but I know that we are doing Exove, not to go for Finland. Exove is doing Gofore, SoDA, Reactor, and a few others are doing that. All of them are farming their own network. So we have like 10 companies in our network currently. And yet last week there was a sales guy said that we actually miss a React developer.
Okay.
So that was Thursday. I was saying, okay, I'll handle this on Friday. On Friday I shoot out the mail, not mail, but in a Slack, the messages to 10 companies that we are looking for this guy. Not 10 because some of them are old, but it needs to be in Helsinki. We have 2 months gig, do you have somebody? Then we got 5 CVs during that day. On Monday, we introduced the selected guy to the client, that we were actually bidding a bigger project and we needed one guy that was like 5-person project. And today, like 2 hours before this event, we got the information from the client that yeah, we won't bid. But we would not have been able to win the bid if we would not have that React guy. And we would not have had that React guy if we would not have created the network beforehand, because then if you start calling, that I'm Janne from Exo and you have any good developers, then the discussion takes ages. But if you have said that we have everything is set, but we said okay, can you shoot us a few CVs that we need this kind of person, and then we close the deal. And this is now, we are now having, I guess we have 4 or 5 external people working in Exo, 3 of them full time with long projects that we get. Some money, most of the money goes to the partner, and it's a risk that we have a contract structure and the others made in place that the provider has the certain amount of the risk and the responsibilities and so forth, because they get bulk of the money also.
And guess where most of your projects that we approach you with in this room, where they come from, it's all from our partners sharing their deals. So it's the same structure, and it works. Here still on a small scale, but with these guys it's like on a, a much more elaborate structure, let's put it this way.
So before I get into that one, cultural thing, Janne, you said that people working in software development companies, services companies in Finland, they used to go and work at the client place. That is not, that is possible in Poland, but this kind of things usually do only BPO centers, kind of outsourcing, leasing people, that they just hire people and they lease somewhere, contracting them through, and people will hate this kind of companies in Poland. They want to work in the same building, the same culture, in the same room, project room with their people together, and going out and having coffee together with their people, with their pals from the same company, and they can sometimes share stories, share something, and discuss fine things. And how these started, we had a Facebook, unofficial Facebook group where people were sharing some questions. They struggle, like, oh, I have this client, he or she is not paying. I have this problem that my people are going to a competitor to work, or they wanted to always have bigger salaries or whatever. And that slightly came to the moment where people started asking, oh, I need a guy or a goal, like React, Java, whatever, for 2 weeks, for 1 month, for a half year, and I can give max that amount per hour. So, and do you have an amount? Please share, send me through email. And then it was Google group, and then we through this Facebook meetup number 2 or 3 met at the office of my Paul in Krakow. This was the first kind of official, unofficial meeting where we were look at each other. Okay, can I share the story or not? Would he win because I share or not? Or maybe I will just listen. Maybe I'll just listen and see what happens. And be smart and never come back here. So, and of course, half of these people for the next meeting, they didn't come. But here we were 30, and the next meeting we had in DOK in Wrocław, actually here 2020, 2 years ago, still unofficial as an association. It was like a pool. It was no place to sit. The biggest conference room we had, it was all full. And we're like, okay, so I think we need to structure this somehow. And then you can just switch how it look like. So to the next slides. Okay. So then we met in DOK, then we met at the Free City in Gdansk. It was Gdansk meeting. All C-level managers, owners, directors, all of them there. And we invited some people from industry who had some stories to share, like us sitting here, very loosey atmosphere. It's community stuff, so there's a vibrant communities. So it's like we invited a guy who made 10 million euros a year. We invited a guy who shared stories on legal stuff. We invited someone else, and they were sharing stories how to help actually our companies, being competitors at the same time, be better. Why did they do this? Of course, they also wanted some of the stories to apply to their companies. And so that's an exchange, normal thing. And the other thing was to uplift all of the companies so we all can be better, we all can charge higher rates, we all can, on needs fuck-ups we have with clients or selling or whatever, we all can keep our people in our companies better way and educate them that going and working together with other software houses is not a bad thing and actually helps us. Then we started working on the standard. What is senior? Who is senior? Who is junior? Who is regular? What kind of skills, soft skills we need to possess? And then this meeting, after that meeting, we decided to sign the act. You can switch. That's the core team of SoDA. We just signed these papers to launch association. And after that, conference during Congress in Katowice, the Year Congress of Entrepreneurs, full room, and it launched, we already had here only 23 members. After that conference, we did a big conference, inviting also international speakers all around software development services.
But now the only question is what's in it for me as a software company? Why are they joining? So what's the value they get out of it?
First thing, which we showed them we were invited to Google Startup meeting to actually present SoDA as an association where startups can go, so demanders can go and build their software through companies which are somehow associated, verified, standardized through SoDA. So you have this tag, code in Finland. We wanted to have this approved by SoDA or something else, and of course lift up this company. So what is in it? Unique value, unique sales proposition was we have an official group on Facebook. You can share whatever you want, and we have community on Slack with our tools, SoDA bench, team plan, how you manage your people, SLA agreements, draft contracts, everything else included. So we launched committees, committee for legal stuff, committee for marketing and sales, committee for networking, committee for collaboration, which I started inside between software companies to teach them how, educate them actually how to collaborate with themselves. And now within 84 companies, we have 50 companies using more or less, but using the team plan formula to manage their people and to share them on a common bench. It's still MVP, it's still Google Sheets with some scripting base and automation through Slackbot and Zapier, which just publishes stuff here. And from there, people were joining and paying like almost €2,000 per year for membership in SoDA. And now we have budget, we have people hired, we have companies, and we have 4 goals: lobbying, education, promotion of Polish software industry out of Poland, and uplifting software companies as the 4th one. So this is how it goes, and it started to grow from the soil where employees of member companies were joining working groups, committees, and started doing something around different things. And we as directors were driving this, and vice presidents who are also directors but have this extra role. They oversee some of the committees. They are invited to meetings with like Pavelson or other ministers now or past, and like lobbying things, consulting things. It's all started happening, and it's just 1.5 years. Almost 2 years. This year in June it will be 2 years of association. We can just move. Breakfasts we do local breakfasts in every city, in bigger city in Poland. Every 2 months we have local breakfasts. You can just come and discuss stuff here. Workshops. We go to Topsot in Switzerland, and we went to Slush together also as a sum of companies. So it's a lot easier, as that's all of our board of directors.
Do you get also some grants from the Polish state?
No grants.
Okay.
Like we are a non-profit association. And
yeah, well, I mean that kind of advance in the Polish industry kind of things that especially in Finland and in other countries you get all that kind of things.
No, we have low taxes, so we don't get anything. You have to choose something. So in Polish reality, you better don't get anything. You just go on your own. So politics don't touch business, and that's good for now. And let's continue this way. The summary comes from 2019. So 70 webinars, 17 SoDA breakfasts, trade missions, workshops. We published industry reports. First one with Citibank and Foundation of Cronenberg. And what happened next, actually? What is in it for members?
That's the question.
So Citibank called us from London, from their HQ, to SoDA and said, you know, guys, we have so many needs, and we know that you are, because we sponsor your conferences, but we would like to have something else. Maybe you can screen and filter some of companies which have experience in fintech and invite them to London as a SoDA mission, so they can come and have a breakfast with our directors, managers, whoever. And then we can send them RFPs, and maybe we can work this way. And this started happening. So SoDA doesn't help to sell services of companies. SoDA creates opportunities and enables others to see companies, to see Poland actually as a software country. And that's again some difference between what's in Germany, Finland, Poland, Estonia. Poland is a services country. Estonia for me is a product country. If I start R&D team, I would go to Tallinn, start team here for my solutions, which I would like to play. If I to start hardware, IoT, any stuff, I would hire ex-Nokia guys from Finland for that things, because they know these things. If I would like to provide services to Western Europe or Northern Europe, I would just hire Polish people because they are all into services. They went to UK, to Ireland, to anywhere. They were in the Netherlands, all into services.
But I have another question. Like, you are doing the bench, which is really successful. You have like 100 guys on the bench all the time, and you take them between the 84 companies or 50 companies, whatever. But why don't you open up the bench to the buyer in the end? Because you know that there's buyers who want to buy Polish code. You know that they could come directly to the bench. It's kind of pre-qualified. Because what I think, like, here, if we do the bench, that could be the next experiment to run. Sort of, it's just an alternative way for a buyer of IT services to get a guy into their project quickly, and it's pre-qualified within a group. And why wouldn't you do it?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. For now, we have a catalog of members which are qualified by industries, by markets they worked with, by size, which is available at the SoDA page. But there is no bench shirt. You need to be a member of SoDA and you need to be a software development company.
But why?
To use this. So bench, we don't want to oversee it at all. We don't want to be a consultant in between a client and a company. So company should handle directly the whole relationship and build this relationship. Then SoDA will be responsible that someone didn't deliver and he took SoDA's bench. And people on SoDA bench today, I checked, it was 150 people available. Like 150 specialists available in different technologies just to help hands-on from tomorrow. But they are not screened in any kind of way to share them externally with the product owners, other enterprise companies, whoever. They are not like the vast national representation of the company, which you usually take
on the bench.
Yeah, they are the people on the bench still. And thanks to this experiment, I understood how should I reconstruct my old bench, which is not actually bench, but it's a growth team of my company. These people start relationship, they help, they solve problems, they just dive into the problems, hands-on, they can join and help you win a tender like that, because you need to React senior guy. So I will have on my bench senior
So
React
you have
guys.
the best guys on your bench.
I have the best guys on my bench. That's how I open and grow.
Okay.
And not all companies will like have this kind of situation, because usually there are juniors, or even if they are skilled specialists, they will be maybe too introverts to work. They would like to work like a soldier long term. Even don't look at me.
And you wouldn't put them on bench to do some gig for someone else, and they would not be happy.
That's why it works so well within software companies in Poland. We are exchanging our people, so we manage them, we screen them, we onboard them as our own people almost, but they work remotely, they don't come to our office.
Does that requires that you sort of own the project and keep it like a black box that you can change the people inside the project? If your best guy is working for somebody else and then you switch the way to somebody that needs on the bench, should the bench sell that person? then you need to replace him, because I guess that you don't keep your best guy sitting on their hands. So and that depends on the first and foremost that how much visibility you would have, and that would not work in Finland. That if you would take the best guy out of the project, the Finnish company will call in 2 weeks, maximum 2 weeks, to say that we don't tolerate this, because they see the value of the people in the project and not the company. They don't care about the company, but they care about the people. And typical, the best running Finnish companies, our clients, typically hire a number of guys from different companies that they call their team of their own.
But it's the same here.
Yeah, so in that sense, I think that that's a good thing that whether it could be open or not to the clients, and then it depends on what you sell. If you sell manpower, you sell an expert, then it could be open. But if you sell solutions, then it's a different game.
It's a different game.
But you can also you could bench a team, like you operate in, for example, in very independent teams, right? In Avalanche, you have the fintech, you have the data team, you have whatever, and they are what they sell anyway. Like you sell it separately, different people sell it. So you could bench a team as well. You can bench whatever special forces team that you have.
But I think that the best way to start would be to do it first among the companies, because then you can hold out the problems there, and then see that whether it depends on what the people are buying. Are they buying hands with brains, or are they buying solutions, or are they buying teams, or are they buying that somebody else has found problems, that they are not actually buying solutions, but they are buying scapegoats. If something goes wrong, then I'll fire that company, nobody fires me. There are different reasons why to buy from the vendors. So and you need to understand those. And I think that currently, if you are selling projects, if you are selling resources, if you are selling teams, all of those actually work if the company is behind the bench behind them, because the client doesn't really care that we have this guy. He's actually not working with us, but we know him really well. That he's like a friend of us, and he comes here because we can't serve you without him. This would be limping along this project, and the client might say, let's try. And then in 2 weeks says, this was the best decision ever. But then the company that sells is responsible for that, and that works well. And then the other one is that if everybody has only junior guys on the bench, then it's problem. So there needs to be some kind of I think that these people can be made available if need to be. This other part of it, that these people don't have any job right now, and then we have certain people we can make available by switching that there's a customer, or we are doing support work that could be done by anybody else, and it's not guaranteed that who does it, and he is now busy with that one, but then we could maybe release him from that, and then somebody else does it, and so forth. So the company, especially when you are a bigger one, you can have that luxury. If you are like 5 guys, then you probably know what everybody's doing already. So I think that in that sense, it would be best to keep the bench hidden, at least in the beginning. And I know that a lot of Finnish companies, the bigger ones, they might have like 1/3 of their workforce as freelancers. So they have a huge amount of people in freelancers, and the bench kind of structures would be. There's actually 2 companies in Finland that just Talented and 10 Times agency that both focus on having sort of nurturing and what the museum does, what is the word for not cultivating, but anyhow, that they sort of figure out what kind of people fit to the different, and then they selected that we have a pool, Talented has a pool of 600 people. And then they just select that we need this kind of CV, and then they find out that is the person, what persons are available with these skills and so forth, and then they give and fill out the price. And they are like a manager, like you have if you are a in sports, or if you are an actor, you have a manager that runs the develops your activity, what deals you should take. So they act like that kind of middleman. So they add value.
There is like a consultant in between, because that's how it works.
Overseas.
So it's there are different models, but there's a need for good developers. Of course, it should be known that the Estonia, if you talk about the Finnish market, Estonia is, Tallinn is 80 kilometers from Helsinki, but it's as far from Helsinki as Seinäjoki, that is between Tampere and Oulu, if somebody knows Finnish geography. So it's like 300-400 kilometers away, because that's the amount of time to get to Finland, because you need to take the boat, and the boat leaves every 3 hours, and from Tampere or Turku, train leaves every hour, and you are in 90 minutes to 90 minutes.
You can fly.
But for example,
you can't fly from here to Helsinki. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That it's take as long as
but the bench you use between your companies, your small group, is it remote work or they go on site?
Depends. Depends. That typically we don't do. We do quite little of client office work. We try to keep it out. So we use our partners that do like to go to clients in things that the client wants them to be. They want to have one person to help them with something. Okay, we want to have a data science. We want to have a scrum master. We would like to have this kind of guy because somebody is on maternity leave right now. And then they go there and they are really happy there. We are really happy that they need to be there. So it depends a bit. And then we have these kind of day out partners. So anything that benefits client and works for the partner of us is something we are striving. Not actively. We don't say that we solve all your problems with all different ways and all people, because then we don't do anything. But if the client says that we have this specific need and we might have an answer, let's talk and figure out, and then go to the sort of bench to see that if there's somebody that could do it. The problem is going to Finland is that if they haven't worked with Estonians before, there is sort of mental block.
So there is the first step is to create the trust, and that's already have some sort of connection between the Estonian company and then the work. That's basically.
Yeah, I think that the first is my honest best advice would be that you would talk now with the Finnish development houses that have offices in Estonia to get to their sort of systems. And then do something with their Estonian team first, and then sort of level up to do Finland, and then when you sort of learn the ropes, then you could do with other companies. We are actually working for SoDA, we are actually working for Exove, and we could work with you too, and then you can call these guys in Goforem or somebody and say that what do you think about this company. So you need to do it step by step. Or the other way, do it that you have a shitload of money that typically Estonian companies don't have that much, but if somebody has this, it would advise that you hire a Finnish sales guy that runs for you, because that was the what we heard that we were thinking to go to Germany, and they said okay that you have to have 100,000 euros for the German sales guy's salary and the other 100,000 euros per year for his cars and flat, and then you might get some results. But if you don't do that, you will get no results. So because we don't have the proximity like the Poles have and Czechs have, that you can drive to Germany and be there sort of immediately. For us, it is planning, and that's the same with the Estonians. From Tallinn to Helsinki, it needs some planning. And you can't go there today, you can come there tomorrow, and sometimes that's, if the shit has got hit the fan already, it's way too late. And then if you're working from Tampere to Helsinki, then I'll take the next train, I'll be 2 hours there. Let's fix this.
I have 2 cases to share. Which have.
And also, what I would say, I myself am getting tired. I don't know how it is about you. We will start. We are
Yes,
slowly. But if I'm getting tired, must be you guys are also getting tired.
No, we are just getting excited about it.
But maybe Dmitrij can share. I know that Dmitrij has really nice cases about.
I have different one. I
Okay,
can choose.
You choose.
Just something which might be valuable for the community here.
Mm-hmm.
Last year in summer we had the situation where we had like 40 people of ours and 10 people borrowed from other companies working all together in different projects. And I know also that the company of my friend, who is also a co-founder of SoDA, they started really like they were small, like 10, 15 people, maybe 20 later, but they borrowed like 30 people, 40 people out of all other companies to grow.
So they had 20 in-house.
Yeah, we had 15. So they had like 15 in-house, 30 borrowed.
So they were good in sales.
Yeah, he was flying all over his company in last 2 years to the level where we are the same right now in terms of sizing. And the other case is also interesting.
So this guy, what he did, he had 20 guys, and because
girls,
he made so
girls,
much, and he made so much sales, then he took 30 from the bench from other companies,
Yes.
and he used them, and then probably he
Yes.
hired at the same time.
And at the same time he did hiring, yes, of course, to exchange them this people. But sometimes it happens that companies value their brands very much, and they want to white label their people, as we did with our Python guys. So, and yeah, guys, because we have no girl in Python team, so to be clear. And that was the case where I was approached by my friends from other company, and it was like, I need your help. Maybe you have a team of 3, like immediately in a week or 2 for German clients, and said, okay, it's possible if it's not white label. And because there was this trust, and because we were in this association together, okay, and introduction to together to a client, a guy from my company in German also flew to his office, where they met together with his managing director, and we were put directly into a contract, like a subcontractor actually, but we were transparent on that. 7 months later, by all mutual agreement, all wanted to change that we will be directly, because actually that was a core technology of ours, and they only were proxy, and they understood it, that they actually make harm to their own brand being a proxy. So they initiated discussion between their client and my company that we changed it to direct collaboration. So there are a lot of cases from other companies also who are competing or who are not competing but complementing their services. One company has market like Netherlands, other company is good at Germany, and then they say, okay, let's do it together. Maybe I can start selling your services in Germany and you can start selling my services in the Netherlands. Why should we spend twice money to salesmen in these countries, to legal staff in these countries, offices in this country? Why? We could grow quicker.
No surprise you sell abroad, basically.
I would if you would go to Finland, I would be upfront frank that this is not my guy, but this work for some other company, because sooner or later the client will find out, and Finns love trust. But if you fail, the trust is something that you can lose only once. That it's inherently Finns are stupid enough that they trust foreigners, not foreigners, but the people that they don't know, or anybody. Of course, if you know some culture that certain people that they tend to actually, for example, Americans, that they everything is great and fantastic and so forth. We know that okay, let's cut 75% of that stuff out, and then we might have something of what they actually mean. But yes, we trust, but we trust once. And then if you found out, okay, you said that this is your guy, but actually we found out later when he talked with us that he's working for some other company. What the fuck? is the question. And
especially the companies from Estonia, the guys.
Yeah. There was one incident that the client was, I was advising the client, that client was not very happy. First they bought from one Finnish big company, I don't name it, and they got a Latvian team. They were expecting Finns.
But
this goes further. Then everything goes fine and then with Latvians, that they sort of swallowed it, that okay, we got Latvians instead of Finns, and it worked well. Until to the moment that they find out that we actually, we need to go to Transmore and we need to get the Latvians to Finland, we'll buy the tickets and so forth. And then they found out that actually Latvians sold the project to Belarusians that couldn't get visas to Finland. And you can imagine that what kind of calls the original sales guy that sold the whole thing got from the client, and whose responsible was to get the Belarusians to Finland. They finally got there and solved the problem, but I would be surprised that if the client would buy more stuff from that company anymore. So if they would have been upfront that we don't have enough skills, so we have really good guy here in Belarus that could help us, and gradually shift that the client always sees that, but it shifts, it naturally shifts to Belarusian.
But it was a Finnish account manager, or the company was Finnish that made that mistake of right.
Yeah. Oh, they thought that they did make no mistake.
No.
But anyhow, so you need to be very upfront with that one, especially if you are selling services. If you are selling solution that you have some SaaS platform that you augment with something, then people don't care where you.
As long as it works.
As long as it works, and as long as you don't use child labor and these kind of things they are very, especially with the big companies, they have the corporate social responsibility programs that have all kinds of these stipulations that you don't buy anything from certain countries like North Korea, Iran, and the others that you can get in a shitty place. But other than that, then the SaaS services is okay, and that you make this is black box. We don't help you and you pay lower price because of that, because we sell it to everybody and it's as is. Then it's very easy conversation. Either if you don't buy it, then the next guy will, and then so but then when you are selling services, that you are selling that I trust this guy, he's working for me and he's a good guy, and you trust me, so probably you should trust him to get the thing done. And then you later found out that this was just a proxy and there was some gang of Ukrainians later that nobody knew.
And also the thing is that they sold the project to the client probably with a rate of Finland, which then went to Latvia, which then went to Belarus.
And everybody got their cut. I guess that at the end the Belarusians were pretty good guys, and if you have brought a few of them to Finland, that they will do the project there.
But the problem is that if the client hadn't asked to come there, it would have been all good.
Maybe, or just waiting for the next one. And I have made one big promise to myself that I won't lose good night's sleep because of the company. So I don't do these kind of things because I would have a sort of cold drink somewhere in my body that the client might call me and ask nasty questions, and I don't really want to do that because the life is at the end about living and not about the business. So I don't want to waste my life because of business, and that's why I don't do it. There are some people that don't care, and I don't want to do business with them because it's also about the ethics. So that's one thing that you mentioned, that you had certain things, not stipulation, but the criteria for the companies. Do you have also something related to ethics, or it's just the competence? That who can be a SoDA member?
Oh, of course, it's a review process. It's not like everyone can become a SoDA member right now. They fill in the membership form. They need to have an interview, and of course, if they are accepted, and then something bad happens, we have this discussion on the board level with this company or about this company to decide if we want to keep this company in association or not.
And they require that the work is done in Poland and not subcontracted to Belarus or
we do not require that work is done in Poland. We require that these are Polish companies. And most of these Polish companies, which are Polish, not like German Polish or something, Polish companies, not Ukrainian Polish, because a lot of them are also there. They rarely outsource to Ukraine, and I heard of no cases to outsource to Belarus or to any other countries. More probable is that some Ukrainians work there, but they work in-house. That's normal situation. So no, this is not kind of middleman's outsourcing, whatever. This is code done locally on the soil of Poland. Let's say this
Janne's point is like really good. Like for any like network like that, be it Koodia Suomesta, the code from Finland, or be it SoDA, or be it Allies, or whatever. It's actually you can have whatever company there in terms of skill sets. You can have because the market is so big. You need absolutely everything and everyone for everything. But it boils down to like ethics and trust and how they collaborate with one another. And if someone, and that's the only thing it can be based on or something like that.
The code in Finland has a strict stipulation that the 80% of value of the work needs to be done in Finland, and taxes need to be paid in Finland.
Yeah, so we pay taxes.
Yeah, we pay a lot of taxes. So
Priit, may I suggest something? Because I think that's a good moment to have some questions, and maybe we can at the same time launch the forum just to get some knowledge around. Can you just switch to the next slide? So in the meantime, so if you have some time.
The ones who actually do run a software company, it would be nice if you give us some insights on Google Forms. It's not mandatory you do it right now, and some of the questions you have answered to us before, but some are things that we kind of still lack from you, and that kind of gives us a better overview of the market again.
There's a link if you can do it from phone, or maybe later in the moment you can do it from this link. You can just type.
I will post it on Slack. So
yeah,
it will be posted.
You can post it on Slack later. But and start some Q&As.
Yes, I have a question for Dmitrij. You mentioned earlier that you don't sell to Polish. So do you mean that E4 members in SoDA you don't sell to Polish? So you have international partners on.
Okay, I told that most of the software development companies in Poland, they sell abroad. And in OK, the most turnover from Poland is between our companies. And if someone sells to Poland, to Polish enterprise companies or to Polish small medium businesses, these are usually very big companies, like a sector former for like 1,000 people. So they sell to government, they sell to big plants, manufacturers, whatever it is. They can sell their ready solutions usually. Or very small companies who just started and who help with websites, with some kind of services, something which is like a little bit less complex to deliver and less risky because of the mindset of typical Polish entrepreneur who is naturally born Polish entrepreneur without any practice with international business or international community or even language, and it will be very kind of tough to collaborate.
So your collaboration is mainly between a mid-sized to a little bit larger software houses who sell actually abroad, and that's the category, the sweet spot in Poland probably, right?
I guess so, yeah. That mainly projects we help with or others help us to deliver. These are still projects for international clients.
ask also. So you said one of the first things for SoDA was to figure out how to sell the company. So what were the conclusions and that you came to from there?
Conclusions 2 years ago were that we suck at selling actually, and it's hard, and no one knows what works. So for someone catalogs like Clutch or something else, for someone Digital Nights or other companies kind of due diligence things they're doing, they all hoped that they can sell without selling. And after 2 years, they all learned that they should actually sell by themselves and go out. So they were afraid to pitch, they were afraid to go out and say, like you said, we have this and that quality, we build this. So this is our proposition, that works, that's our quality, and here we are, like that. Yeah, so they were afraid to be bold. I was afraid to be direct or like didn't know culture, mainly cultural things, and before that's scary.
I would add to that the typical Finnish mistake, and I think that it's also a typical Estonian mistake, is to talk that how good we are as a company and how good people we have and so forth, and not that this is the value that we will bring to your business. That's a completely different story and way harder, but the clients don't really care who you are as long as you bring value to their business. So that you should think that what is your additional value to client's business instead of that how good you are, because the posing doesn't really bring any clients, but you can sort of fool yourself that you are selling, that you are bragging about yourself and figuring out that why nobody buys it from you.
Was that the old style of selling, even in emails, like here we are, we have that, and that. And now, after several seminars we had, conferences and workshops, people I think learned to do social selling. They learned to bring in the plate with almost 70% of work done ready, that clients shouldn't do any research even, just the ready thing. So we know who we are coming to, we know that you might struggle with this or that because A, B, C, D, and you might profit from this, or you might reduce risks, or you might reduce costs, or you might grow quicker, or whatever you might, but not we. So it's the other side also. And that's an absolutely different pitch, and everything else is culture. So we can fail with culture, of course, because we will be impatient or bored or whatever, or not straight enough, or not unstraight enough, or like in UK it was. For us, it was very hard. For you, I heard it also was pretty hard. I had several cases in UK, and all of them are like non-repetitive, non-scalable, very vendor kind of, very British kind of. Also, so they won't tell you anything straight. You need to guess, and if you guess correctly, that's okay. Yeah. And if you have American accent, like I have. So okay, you are in Poland, you have American accent, you're selling to UK to London, okay, great, and I have to switch to a pretty British accent and start talking to them like that, but they know that it's not good English, it's not a good British, and especially not London English kind of, so, and then they say, okay, you need to work 6 days a week, you're coming to We are in Finland, we work here 6 days a week. Okay, good luck, you work 6 days a week, we work 5 days a week in Poland, so you have to pay 150% overtime then. Okay, we want to pay 100% 50 overtime, over hours, we will do 5 days a week. But you need to work 10 hours, no, we work 8 hours. And you will need to pay extra 150% overtime for extra 2 hours, because then we need to pay other people. Okay, we'll pay 25. Okay, but the rate is that. Okay, that goes like that all the time. And that's not partnership at all. And of course, you need to have this guy in UK, but it's not in euros. You need to have 150k pounds in London, and then you need to have extra 50 or 100k per year for meals and other things, and all these kind of things. And better he will be or she 50 years older or more, and knew some governance and some bank or whatever, And upper class, no, middle class, no, upper class. It's skills.
Yeah, in this way, society, it's number of learners.
Hans.
Yes, related to sales, what about, what's your opinion about cold calling? Is it still a thing, or does it lead somewhere?
Yes,
It takes time to build trust with potential clients and so on.
So that's interesting because 2 weeks ago, Tartu started this. So I heard from one Finn that cold calling still works in Finland. And of course it should be Finnish, and of course it should be from Finland. So it's hard to do it from anywhere else. In Poland it doesn't work. People hate it. If you call, they just don't.
You're like a telesales.
Yeah, it's absolutely, they block numbers. We have these portals which screen this phone, these numbers, apps which block automatically numbers which are in databases. So you won't even have chance to call me if that will be a proper number, maybe, which will be fresh one. and cold calling doesn't work in Poland. Like you won't sell anyone.
How about Estonia, for example? Do you know course?
I didn't cold call because my clients or partners or who we want to work together with is software development houses, I think, mostly, and other sort of agencies in the same field. So we don't really cold call any of you. I think the way we get customers is quite simple. Is if we have a deal from someone else, from you most probably, then we bring that deal to the next, or we know it could potentially be a match to someone who we don't yet know. And that's the simplest way to your heart, is for me to bring you a deal. And that's why you pick up the phone or answer by emails. And I don't think in this business it would really work, at least for me, to cold call.
So it's more.
I really need to bring you value, otherwise I wouldn't come here. Next time, blah 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 blah, and or solve a problem for you, which and yeah.
So more like a recommendation.
I think so. Or actually, as well, there are the cases when someone says that, hey, I met with them. It seems like that what they do could help you as well, and that's. But we never cold call, and I have done sales earlier as well, and I did cold call. First you hate it. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, it's a process. You really hate it. You don't want to pick up the phone, but then eventually you start. You get used to it. It's a normal thing to do. But to me, it's never been like the efficient strategy in anything. That's my experience.
I think that it depends on the. I try to call, let's say 15 to 20 calls a day.
But it's not cold. How cold is it?
Depends.
Wow.
Depends.
That's why buying, like Finnish examples.
But when I get to the discussions, then the real trick is to get in a minute or so that the client actually wants to talk with you later again. But it's in Finland, it's crucial to understand that where your prospects are. That, for example, we are now working in, let's say that they share pretty openly that, okay, we are now working with ERP and we don't have budget for anything else. Okay, when it's going to be ready? Probably September, so I'll call you October, the guy says that, okay, it's still ongoing, or that they have done something else and so forth. So if you want to know when your solution is sort of that the client has potential to buy it, you need to somehow keep track with the client. And the phone is probably the easiest one because.
But it wasn't a cold call in the first place. The first place you approached them because you knew that this is really something that solved for you for that, or it's not. How cold is the call?
It depends. It depends that year, but I just practice it when I'm in a car. I just call. Because I don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
So that's the routine thing.
I also
Sales is routine and sales is effort. Effort times efficiency and nothing else. So and you can't raise the efficiency that much, but the effort is something that you can control. If you have zero effort, then you have zero results. That's very easy. And if your efficiency is also zero, then you get zero results. But the effort is something that you need to figure out. In my pipe drive, I have like 250 to 300 tasks moved on, couldn't get approval from the management. I would like to get that home in a month. Okay, I'll hold in a month, and so on. So we have that some of them are offers, some of them are something that I would like to get you to know X of it, because it would be beneficial for you. And then you have good enough rack, and that has taken a few years to get there. You end up with good results. I was in Slush, met 29 people in 2 days, got 25 meetings with them after they were interested.
I was one of them actually.
Yeah.
But actually,
Yeah, so there's no point for us to say that I call you and then you probably are required. I need to call you 3 years when you actually do it. Now we are reviewing that system. They say, aha, excellent, let's talk. You need to do that every few months with those people to keep on track of where they are, what they are planning. And then when you know more about the client, then you say that, okay, we discussed last time this and that. You need to have really good memory. And then they always say, okay, you're actually interested about their business, and then selling my stuff comes later if we could help you.
Question, let's say in these conferences you get business cards from all different countries, right? So would you still, it looks like the service, how most people approach it would be the target country, like okay, now it's Germany or now it's UK, or would you still like try to just sell to the leads you get wherever they are, like we were saying, selling to very geography based, right? Like we're entering Germany, we're selling to Germany, we're selling to UK, or would it work to just follow up and sell to leads wherever they are? You know, so one is in Switzerland, one is in Norway, 2 are here. So, or does it make sense to?
We start with mission. So if the client is in line with our mission, and we would love to help him, and he needs or she needs help from us to make this done, which probably touches very, let's say, more kind of value things around the environment or health, whatever, then geography matters less for us. It still needs to be Europe.
Is that because of time difference?
Many reasons. Let's leave it like time. Many reasons. And if not, then it should be like within our target market, which is very well defined, of course. What is the target market? Whom do we prospect? Why we prospect these people? How to prospect there? And you need an enormous amount of time to understand how to prospect clients from your target market and from the industry you are interested in, from every country you are prospecting. So you need to be otherwise very big or mature with this and have a lot of experience, or you have these locals and local divisions. So what worked for us, we had first clients in different countries, and then some of these clients converted to our partners in our daughter companies in these markets. Because they loved what we did, we loved them, and we together created daughter companies in Netherlands, in Denmark, and they started selling for us in their local style, local language, servicing, accounting clients locally, and that worked for us, and I know that this works for a couple of other companies from Poland. But generally,
I think like Reach You also sells a very quite specific end of the market. So most probably it's that is the answer, like, or could be the answer, going through another client that you have there. And their geography for you doesn't really matter, right? Seen from where you are.
I would say that the first rule of thumb should be that you have more prospects that you can serve, and then you can select. That you don't need to run for everybody, because then you are run all those for somebody that won't ever buy your stuff. So you need to be enough prospects that you can throw half of them away, that you don't waste time on those. Then there are certain countries, like Switzerland is a good example. Swiss want to buy from Swiss, like Finns seem to be buying from Finns, and it's harder to enter that market. The UK, Netherlands are very different because they are more international by nature because of the history and what kind of companies are there. Then the problem for those, for example in Singapore, is that they are really international, but they will always get better bargains from the nearshore there. So they have a tendency that they will always select the cheapest one. It's very easy to send offers to them and very hard to win deals from them. And so you need to find out that what market is ripe enough and is willing to buy outside. If you waste time on a market that doesn't really, that nobody buys, or there's a local competitor of yours that everybody buys from them, then maybe you should go somewhere else and then have enough prospect that you can live without that market. Because the choice of not going somewhere is typically harder than the choice of going somewhere. Because you want to keep all the possibilities open.
I hear that you're a very big fan of predictable revenue
I would like to have a predictable revenue if possible.
I had a workshop recently with him also. He says next week you need to read maybe impossible to individual. So on this productivity of sales and how to make it as a, let's say, machine. I don't like to make sales as a machine. We do not sell. We sell by not selling. That's what we have to do. Okay, we sell by not selling.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, that's it. It doesn't matter whether you sell on what is your style of selling. But I would like to have predictable results.
You have to be out there to do it.
Find the right way for the clients, because it has to be if you say that it's our way, the client says it's always highway, and we are always out. So it needs to be client's way. But still, we need to find a mechanism that is predictable. That if we put that we have just 2 sales guys, they produce this amount of money. We have 4 sales guys, they will double the result or more, and that should be the goal of it. That there's enough systematic in the sales. Whether what is the style of selling, what is the style of meeting the clients, and so forth. That's completely different thing. But the sales machinery needs to be there, because otherwise it's that kind of heroic stuff that somebody gets done. Like the light coding, that somebody fixes the issues and then there is no guiding mechanism available. That you need to, that the market is dying what you do. If you don't have a systematics in sales, you don't find it out before you are almost bust.
So as I understand, Polish have really good support system. They all different IT houses support each other with the know-how and the knowledge and stuff like that. So that's the actual success formula. Am I in the right direction?
For us, yes.
Yeah, because it's something same that the Finnish did with group gymnastics 10 years ago. They really sucked at it. They created really good support system. They brought in foreign coaches from Russia and all over the world. And now they are one of the best in the world.
It's like open source.
Icelandic football.
Yeah, exactly.
It is like the open source.
It's like open source.
How strong is your community? That's how strong you are going to be. Or
so for you, it's also the question how you can create this good support system and how can you be part of it.
Everything starts from the community. That if you don't want to work together, there's no point of having anything.
Exactly.
So that's the trust.
And how do you get the trust? Because
people talk to each other.
when everybody comes together, their first idea coming together is how can I get something? But if you come together and you change the mindset to something different, then
I believe it's so possible here. You're a 30 times smaller country than Poland.
Yeah,
you know each other.
It's 2 cities.
Easier to do.
Like you look at each other, you know each other. I in a year will know all of you.
And it's true. He will actually. That's the scary part.
For me, it's some kind of family style. You can here make it local, work for you as a community.
Exactly.
For us, it was not like that. All voivodeship regions we have in Poland, different styles of more conservative, more right wings, more central, more lefts, different people.
Yeah, and bigger country.
Bigger country.
Creates that friction.
To go to the meetup to different cities, we need to drive 3 hours. Or fly, or 5 hours to Gdańsk or somewhere else. It's like the same for me as to go to Slash or whatever else. Like, and here, yeah.
If everybody is your customer or friend or partner, where do you recruit from? Where do you
Good
go?
one.
Yeah, very good one.
We haven't touched recruiting.
We have been running in Exole. We have been running a trainee program for 8 years, I guess now. It's probably 8 years. One of the trainees from 2013 that we started is now in our management. He's running all our projects, all the responsible product business. Last year we got 490 applications. We selected 7 people. All of them are juniors, of course. But we raise them. We have it that we don't sell the teams, we sell the solution. We can raise the people. And we have made a very strict commitment that only in exceptional circumstances we will hire somebody to the top of the company. That will raise the people regularly. So we have the career paths. And when we have done it, now 8 years, we interview 100 coders most probably this spring and select 5 to 7 of those best ones. And we have every single year we have got these people that we have wanted, no exceptions. And last year was the first time ever that one person declined to continue after the summer period. He moved to Italy. We didn't have office there yet, at least. So we have Italian guy working for us in Finland, but we don't have office in Italy. So he was the first guy that did not continue the progress of what I would like that if he comes back to Oulu someday, he would continue. He was a good guy. And we have offered everybody we could say that we don't want to continue with you, but we have been holding the process so well. There will be always situations that people go to a company that you are also partnering with. It's something that with contracts you can do certainly to protect yourself, but then you need to be also make sure that you understand it's part of life.
Yeah.
And you can't control it, but you can sort of make sure that it's a gentleman game instead of that kind of law of jungle. And but there is untapped potential in the universities. And then if you just open a position, somebody applies, then it's not your fault that he comes from some other company. But it is about your company's capabilities more than that you call the old people and you want to make sure that people are working with us, because then everybody knows that you're that kind of people.
Yeah, and you're that kind of
then nobody wants to give you any resources.
and no one wants to work
Exactly.
for you either in the long run, sort of. It's about keeping them, and sometimes you can't keep the people. It's a normal thing, or
Yeah, we have had cases that we are really happy that guy is looking at Facebook or somebody else's paper.
I do apologize. I have to leave.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the invite, and I hope to keep in touch. Thank you.
Thanks. And actually, it's like it is past the time that we were thinking we would talk here. So, what we can do, I don't know. Does anyone have Hans has another
Yes, one
question?
question.
Yeah.
Question to Dmitrij. Does SoDA also consider foreign companies to join so that they can reach all the markets which you already have reached, or maybe perhaps in the future? Considering that?
So for now, the Software Development Association Poland, a company should be Polish to join, has to be a member of SoDA and to be registered in Poland.
Can they be daughter companies?
It can be daughter company, but the majority of capital should be Polish. So 51% Polish, and that everything else is acceptable. And we accept partnering members as organizations. Like now we have the Swiss Chamber of Commerce, I think, or some we have Hamburg organization as a honorable member, and we are honorable member. Their organization is like more kind of organizing trade missions together or exchange or something like that.
But they are not development houses.
There are non-development houses. And just for hiring thing, because I wanted to add something. You covered almost everything I have in my company in SoDA. You can agree whatever you can with in contracts that people want to chase your people and companies for some period. However, we do not chase actively employees of companies from SoDA. If someone else would apply to our advertisements, then I will probably, or my HR manager, whoever, will write to this other company that, you know, this guy considers or girl considers to change to our company to interview. Is she or he good? Can you tell me the truth? Why, what is the situation? Maybe project is bad, maybe client is bad, maybe he's bored, or maybe he's not so good or she's not so good. And then it's like, almost usually it's transparent and fair, and then even I would love she or he will go to your company rather to other company, because we know our companies, and this employee will be in good hands. But you remember the statistics, we are only 84, and there are thousands of software houses in Poland. And moreover, there are enterprise companies, and people usually change their job because they are tired of working for boring big enterprise company where people are just a part of the process or the machine or the system or the screw of the machine, whatever it is, and they want to feel good in the environment they work with. So people want to be treated as human, as people, and to be important. And this is possible, from my perspective, only in companies such below like 1,000 people. It depends, of course, on cultural thing, but generally things start to change when companies are 500 and more.
It depends on the structure of the company, I would say. In Finland, some of the 1,000 people companies, everybody has the same supervisor.
Or at all, if you are...
No, you need to have the law stipulates that you need to have a supervisor, so everybody is directly under CEO. Of course, the CEO doesn't really pedal with everybody, but then the companies structure themselves by the people for the people. Okay. So you can do that, but you need to pay a lot of attention, and they don't have organization per se.
Teal organization.
In a sense, yeah, but not exactly, but anyhow, that kind of, and you can then grow that it's more like an amoeba or a mushroom that grows instead of some tree that needs to have support structures with the others. And it has worked so far. We haven't seen how big they could be with their current model. So it's
interesting.
Okay.
How do you measure or evaluate the expertise level? Like this one guy is the SoDA senior developer.
So even before we started association, I prepared some standards. How do we understand seniors? What does it mean for us? With some kind of scale or let's say feedback thing, and like especially soft skills like design thinking, like strategic one, like what eyes like open or mentorship or other things. So we need to know more about people who are from external organizations, and of course we didn't work as a duo with 50 of them. We tested like 15 different kind of, selected some of them. We trust
15 houses you tested?
Yeah.
And then you kind of now know.
And then my people, project managers or tech leads, they know that people from this company are usually good or the same as we, so we don't even need to screen them. We just have a talk on project. Hey, you are on the bench, right? Are you interested to join this kind of project? And we are pitching that. Right? Or maybe not, because you will be working with us for like half a year. So it's very important that people are happy with
the bench person has to want to work with you, otherwise it's gonna be like
it will be a risk that this person will quit working for that company which leads someone to us. So you need to resolve the issue of taking care about your people if you take someone from other company or you give to other companies. So these issues need to be covered. And we have constant experience with different companies. Even from today morning I had like company from organization, okay. We gave one guy to them, and we already like in between lines to us on Slack internally said, okay, we won't collaborate anymore with them, and I will give them one-on-one feedback during the board meeting to their manager how this collaboration doesn't work actually, and why, and what should be improved so we can again work together. So
it's not only maybe, but the question was also who's senior, which is a good question, but it's more than that. It's that part, like how do you evaluate the hard skills, and how do you evaluate, like I say he's senior, he says he's not senior, but then it's again, the screening has to be about the match in every other way as well, right? Like,
yeah, culture fit, that's the first thing. Expertise fit, that's the second main thing.
Sure, that's probably the easiest one.
Yeah, that's just on the paper.
The CVs,
yeah.
But then the culture fit and the...
So we have a call usually or leads if possible. So we have a triangle for every project, like BD if needed, project manager, and tech lead or experts who's from that, and they need to talk, and they need to decide. It's their decision that are implementing. So it's not just business decision, that's team decision also.
So basically you have to have a standard about what senior means, but at the end of the day you need the standard for, you need to understand where you are compared to all the other companies and the cultures, who you
and then you can negotiate on price.
Yeah.
Finally, if you know it doesn't fit. So.
Thank you, I would say, especially to you. Yeah, I hope so as well. So, like our goal, like is with this is to understand what topics or things are that matter the most to the companies that we want to solve problems for, and who we want to solve problems for is you guys, and now that was the first try of trying to bring in expertise from other markets, how they do it, how they see it, and maybe it kind of gets us closer and helps us find the problems and solve them, whatever they may be. Yeah.
Thanks.